Hey friends, it's Chops, and welcome to another Wargames commentary video. This game is one of the many 7v7 games that my guild, Teldrassil Firefighters, played against our buddies in Horde War Machine earlier in the month. I selected this particular game to do a commentary on because there were a couple of very exciting moments in it. There's a kind of a fun dynamic bit to watch there, and also because, for reasons that will become obvious in the video, I was pretty happy with my performance. So I hope you all enjoy this video as much as I enjoyed making it and playing the game that it covers. Enjoy. Okay, so right off the bat, let's talk about team comps. Teldrassil Firefighters is running, I guess, what you could consider more of a standard war games composition here. Mage, Warlock, Survival Hunter, Warrior, Holy Priest, Holy Pally. The only really kind of oddball move here is the Vengeance Demon Hunter Flag Carrier. Across the map, Horde War Machine is running a little bit more of an oddball comp. It's similar to something we had run successfully earlier in the night. They've got a Rogue and DK with a Shadow Priest and a Marks Hunter, Mistweaver and Holy Pally healers, and a more traditional Resto Druid FC. During this initial push, my goal is to not get off my mount for as long as possible. We just kind of use the presence and threat of a warrior charge to corral them back into their graveyard here. We get a call to go in on no face, but I get gripped into a stun right out of it and put into a pretty dangerous place here. Luckily, I stack a lot of stamina and versatility, so I'm pretty tanky. I'm able to get a swap to Sword and Board there and survive that initial clash. Off the back of it, Hash gets this incredible push into our team and just starts kind of moving us back away from the graveyard, creating some space for his team and scaring us off of that contain. We are able to turn that around into a big chaos bolt from Juan as our flag carrier is coming out of their base with the flag. Ko reads this. We're able to intercept him, force the turtle. No Face is a little late trying to come to help out Ko and a little too early to get any help from his team. So we're able to scare him back and away, get the hamstring off on Cracks there, and kind of isolate Ko from the rest of his team, and then get the kill off of the back of it. This gets Andre in a fairly safe spot. We still have to respect the rogue here, but he's more or less where we want him to be, and we're able to turn around and start containing Horde War Machine while we wait on Agriculture to get the pick. We also sent Prag back here to sit with Andre in case of a rogue opener, and also to harass Agriculture once he does grab the flag. I get gripped into another stun here. No trinket this time, so it's a little bit scarier. Luckily, Ko was rezzing. If he had been alive there, I'd definitely die. Hash gets another great push off of that, and we're sort of back into a back and forth push in the teams here, trying to get some good position for when flag carriers inevitably try to cross. Ko tries to make another break for it here. We see him, and I turn around to go pick him up. Maybe should have just let Prag deal with him when he got across the map, but I had a good angle on him and didn't want him to get away. He goes for the scatter trap, but I get the trinket off, see the trap, and just kind of stay away from it. We get Franz comes diving in on a Serve Hunter here. Cracks is a little late to get Ko the help he needs, so he dips out, and we just kind of get the kill on Ko. Agriculture took this opportunity to cross relatively unchallenged and manages to get up his tunnel as we regroup and try to cut off his team from help, which we do. They're kind of slow getting up the tunnel here, so we're able to kind of cut them off and try to push them back into their graveyard. We get a really good poly off on Cracks here in just a second, which is going to allow us to get the damage out onto Crucible and get the kill, which then kind of snowballs into us pushing them back into their graveyard. Octavian, the rogue, opens on Andre here, like right about nowish. as we're wiping up their team. He's kind of all by himself, so we're able to hamstring off Cracks and Hash Browns there from getting to him to help. I turn around to run after the rogue for some reason that I guess our whole team needs help killing, which leaves Fran in kind of a dicey spot here. But Hash overextends, a little bit of a miscommunication, I think. We're able to get the kill on Hash. And it is time to more or less regroup and get a push onto the FC. You can see Prague coming up the ramp there to go pressure agriculture down, and we're just kind of making sure that they can't get around to help. We pick Ko trying to flank us up here, get another turtle, engage on his team. You can see agriculture drop, headed towards their tunnel right there with Prague in pursuit. Ty picks him up, gets a very choice stun, and we're able to get the kill. Octavian grabs the flag, but we're going to kill him and get the return. Kind of an odd play here from Horde War Machine. I think if agriculture had dropped down towards their resto hut, towards their healers, and Octavian had opened on Andre instead, I think that fight goes a little differently. Instead, we're able to get a cap off the back of that and start pushing their team back into their graveyard. Agriculture is going to res right here. You'll see him immediately get stealth. And he's going to head across the base or across the map towards our base to, I guess, quick pick the flag and maybe force us to relieve some of the pressure that we have on their graveyard here. But for the moment, we're keeping them towards their graveyard because we want to make sure that Andre can get across the map relatively unchallenged. I blow Fireblood here just to pull some dots off and get a breather out of the fight. I really should have just stayed in the fight. I don't know why I dove out of it. I think I was trying to if I'm not taking damage, I'm not using my healer's mana, which honestly just means that other people are taking that damage instead. Silly me. Crucible goes to get the double stun off a leg sweep there to save Cracks. It misses the Hunter. So we get the kill there, which turns into a kill on Hash, which turns into us turning around and pushing their team back into their graveyard right about the time Agriculture grabs the flag. Andre is about to grab flag for us, and we'll be in another FC standoff here in just a little bit. We got to push their team back behind this hut. I hate going behind this hut because Horde just typically kinds of goes all the way around and squirts out the other side. But we got an opportunity to get a kill on Crucible, so we took it. I dive back out because I'm chicken. And we make sure that Andre can get out of their tunnel without worrying too badly about the rogue. And right here, Agriculture is starting to cross. So we send Juan and Prague to intercept and harass him and kind of babysit Andre a little bit, which sort of leaves us down some people to contain Horde War Machine. So they're able to break out of that containment and go help Agriculture. We decide here that maybe we want to push. We've got the rogue out. He's polyed. We're in kind of a good position to maybe push on them, except Andre's just a little far back from us. And we don't want to make that push without him because the rogue will get the re-stealth, and that's bad news for our flag carrier. Once we do get Andre up near us, it's time to make the push. I run in and grab Berserking, and somehow No Face manages to survive a Berserking Arms Warrior and Serve Hunter engage, which just kudos for that quick dispersion and the heals from his healers. Ko and Hash are able to use slows to really kind of bottleneck this push up ramp here. I'm taking a ton of damage. We more or less realize that we're just not going to get this push. So we pull back out of it. Andre had gotten sapped by the rogue. It was time to collect ourselves and try a different approach. You can see me take a frustrated swing at a Ghost Iron Dragonling there. We get the mount, and it's time to kind of pull back a little bit, collect ourselves. Horde War Machine decides to push into us as we pull back here. We didn't have Prague, so we couldn't make a strong counter push. So we're just kind of jumping back, trying to get ourselves into a position where we can wait for a Prag to res. I should have been up here frontlining instead of letting Juan do it, but I wasn't real sure what I was supposed to be doing in this situation. Future note, definitely don't let your lock get gripped in because you're too scared to frontline a counter push like this. But I find myself in the middle of Horde War Machine as they're making a push. We managed to get the rogue out here and are able to get the kill on Ko at kind of the same time. So I just decided I'm going to spread some hamstrings. Cracks got the bubble off before I could get the hamstring. So I just turned and opened on the other two. We get a poly here on Cracks, which allows us to get the kill on his team and then turn around and kind of get the kill on him. They sent Crucible back to sit with Agriculture during this. I'm not sure that was a great idea. I think if Crucible had been there, that push maybe goes a little differently. But now we've got 6 stacks on a Druid FC, and it's time to push them. We send Andre back to go ahead and get ready for the cap. We're pretty confident that we're going to get the kill here because we more or less wiped their team. But they decide that they're going to take this opportunity to push Andre, which I think is actually a pretty smart play here. Problem was, it seems like a couple of them got off to a little bit of a slow start. You can see Ko quite a bit out ahead of his team here, and as we're able to get the engage, Ko just keeps going, and he's heading in to intercept Andre while we get the stun on Agriculture and are able to get the return. You'll also notice here in just a second, you'll see Octavian the Rogue heading into our base to also intercept Andre. So we're fairly certain that we're not going to get the pick here, or not going to get the cap, because Ko gets the pick and decides he's going to duel Andre. And Demon Hunters are pretty good into Hunters, but if he's got all of his cooldowns up with the help of a Rogue, Andre's just in trouble. We weren't sure what to do here, but I just decided to make the decision that you don't kill Andre without getting punished for it. And also that we should probably clear the Hunter out of our base. I know he's spent most of his cooldowns to kill Andre, and so I figure if I can at least kill the Hunter, we're in a better position than if we had a Hunter and a Rogue in our base. So I open aggressively on the Hunter, assuming I'm going to get stunned at any minute here. But he disengages into a wall, which allows me to get the damage out and get the kill and the return. I was turning around to just run out, but I decided there was no way the Rogue was actually going to let me leave the base. So I decided instead to take advantage of the momentum that I had and engage the Rogue and at least keep him tied up and not let him get in a good position in our base. I, at this point, decide maybe I can win it. So I go to Sword and Board. I should have Mortal Striked before swapping so I could get the Mortal Strike into the Shield Slam there. But instead, I wasted a global having to swap back and forth. But I do eventually get the kill. Thank you, Sword and Board. And I get opened on immediately by Agriculture. Able to get the Victory Rush off to get some health. I kick the roots. Able to charge the dash here and get a hamstring on him and get out in front of him. I drop off here because I'm like, well, I want to cut this avenue off for him. I kind of assumed he would follow and try to kill me, which would allow me to get a quick res right off the graveyard, but he didn't follow me. So I just immediately ran towards my team. I check the scoreboard, make sure you're still doing all right. And it's time to help Andre get across as best I can here. This is kind of a situation I really live for as a warrior, just kind of a run and gun here, like, get on this guy, get the hamstring, turn around on this other guy, get the hamstring, and that's kind of what I get to do here. These are sort of my favorite moments in games, is just bouncing from one person to the next. It's a lot of fun, especially as a warrior. Horde War Machine is kind of scattered here, which allows us to pick them off sort of one by one and sort of interrupt any push that they had onto Andre. But it also allows them to group back up at their graveyard, which is what we're going to see them do here. Cracks just kind of hangs out smartly, waiting for the rest of his team to res. We take this opportunity to get our healers some mana. They were getting a little low there. Everybody's just kind of recovering and regrouping. We're doing a bit of a soft contain here, just not letting them get across mid. They're waiting on resers. and we are getting ready for this is the skirmish that more or less decides the game. If we lose this push, they're in a great position to harass and probably kill our FC and get the second cap, which puts them up for the win. If we win this, we're able to get the second cap, which more or less puts us in an unbeatable position with the time remaining. So this is the fight that is going to decide more or less how the game goes. We're able to dump some huge damage out, but a little disconnected there on my part, so we don't get the kill. And Hash is able to make another spectacular push into our team here. I'm kind of at a loss. I turn around. I want to get some hamstrings out. I'm just kind of hamstringing frozen targets there, making sure that we can slow their advance as much as we can. We get another call to hit Hash here, and it's kind of a slow crawl to kill him. Hash is really tanky. DKs are in general, but we eventually get the kill with a huge Chaos Bolt, which leads us to kind of snowball a little bit. We get a good poly chain on cracks there, which puts us in a position to dump onto Crucible, and we just kind of start picking up the rest of their team one by one and pushing them back into their base. Now, they still have time to recover from this, so we want to be wary of not getting a little overconfident. You know, they could come out of this and still make another push and still get the last cap and still win the game. So we immediately turn around to rush agriculture, except for me. For some reason, I hung out and was like, I'm going to take these bodies, even though they're like 10 yards from their graveyard. I'm not actually really accomplishing anything here, which causes me to get caught out of position pretty badly by Hash Browns. I decide if I'm going to die, I'm at least going to slow and harass as much as possible before I do die, which is what I do. I get a pretty meaningless slow off on Crucible and end up in a duel with Hash Browns, though luckily my team is able to get the return off agriculture. Dueling DKs on a warrior kind of sucks. Hamstring only slows by 50% and Chains of Ice slows by 70%. So they can just kind of root you and then dance around while they hit you with their ranged abilities. It's not a whole lot of fun. Anyways, I die there. But I decide, I died in a pretty good position. I might be able to get a body res here. We got the return. I'm not terribly concerned about the fact that I'm not in the fight right now. We're in a fairly good position. We'll do all right. As I'm coming up here, there's a call to kill Ko. So I'm like, I'm going to res right on top of him. Unfortunately, me trying to get fancy results in them taking my body before I can res, which means I have to watch another res timer. They got a good counter push off of that, managed to kill tie dubs, and now they're kind of pushing us into our base, which is not a great position to be in, except that it's less than 3 minutes until the end of the game. The likelihood of them winning this game is pretty low. They're playing more or less to not get shut out. We're playing to get the 3 cap. That's sort of what's happening here. So I res and I get back in the fight just soon enough to steal that KB from Juan, get some hamstrings out, and then I just kind of spurg out for a second. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here. Why did I swap to sword and board? I have no idea. I was very intent on it, though, judging by my face, so I have no idea what I was thinking there. We try to go in on agriculture here because, hey, if we can kill the flag carrier, we can pretty much just wrap this game up. But I didn't use sharpened blade, so we don't get the kill there. He's able to get away from us, but he gets away from us, gets around that stump, and then immediately re-engages our team here. I think maybe he was just memeing. But we're able to get the kill on him at that point, and that more or less wraps up the game. Less than 2 minutes to go. Your flag carrier is dead. We're pushing you into your graveyard. At this point, we're just playing out the final minutes of the game. But Horde War Machine does not want to get 3 capped here, so they sent their DK and their rogue back to harass Andre and prevent him from getting the flag, which they do. They're able to get to kill on him, which is going to keep this game at 2-0. Just generally, I don't think Horde War Machine played poorly. I think they were just out-comped. There is a lot of damage that comes out from Mage and Warlock, especially with a Serve Hunter. that their comp just had trouble dealing with. They had sort of a rot comp, which is really good if sort of your goal is to spread a lot of rot damage, wear out healers' mana, and then get a kill when they're The problem is Warlock, Mage, Serve Hunter is going to get a kill whether the healers are or not. So we were able to force kills quicker than Horde War Machine was, which enabled us to consistently snowball fights. Also, Mistweaver not having a Dispel was a huge thing. There were several times throughout the game that you guys saw where Prag was able to get polymorphs off on cracks, and because the monk couldn't dispel them, we were able to keep them at more or less one healer. You'll notice in that scoreboard, I got out damaged by a holy priest. This is not really where you want your DPS to be at. Big thing that I really need to work on in war game scenarios is maybe being about as aggressive as I am during pugs, which is to say I need to just keep pushing into the other team to get more damage out and apply more pressure. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed the game itself and making the video for y'all to watch. I will see y'all next time. Thank you.